Welcome and thank you for joining us at the 70th Annual National Father of the Year Luncheon. Proceeds from today's National Luncheon will be donated to our national charity partner, Save the Children.
I was completely unaware that a friend of mine had nominated me for this honor, where I would be honored and named the Ashok Sani All-Star Dad.
I'd like to thank the committee, but most of all, I'd like to thank my wife. I'm very proud to be up here and to take this home.
I really appreciate the Father's Day Committee for the honor. Very privileged to be a part of this and to support such an effort.
I need to raise the mic a little bit here. Again, this is truly an honor. I thank the Father's Day Committee for the award.
Thank you to the National Father's Day Committee for feeling I was worthy of this high honor. My thanks to all of you for being here today and making a difference through your support of Save the Children.
And I take pride in this award more so than anything I've ever received. And so this is going right on my mantle, and thank you all very much.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us at the official press briefing for the 70th Annual National Father of the Year Awards. My name is Stuart Goldblatt, and I have the honor and privilege to serve as the chairman of the National Father's Day Committee. I'd like to congratulate the 2011 Fathers of the Year, Coach Jim Boeheim, Mr. Jeffrey Canada, Mr. Brendan Hoffman, Mr. Randall Stevenson, and Mr. Amari Stoudemire, as well as this year's Ashok Sani All-Star Dad, Robert Evans. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today out of your busy schedules. At this time, I'm delighted to introduce a moderator of our press briefing today, and will also be our MC today, Mr. Mark Shriver. During his 9-year tenure with the Save the Children U.S. programs, and they are the beneficiary of today's luncheon, Mark has significantly enhanced productivity, expanded the number of children served throughout the country, diversified revenue sources, and secured the largest private gift in the program's history. Mark has served as a member of the Maryland House of Delegates and has chaired the Children and Youth Subcommittee of the Maryland House Ways and Means Committee, as well as the Joint Committee on Children, Youth, and Families. Mr. Shriver lives with his wife Jeannie and their 3 children, Emma, Molly, and Tommy. And one of the greatest things that's happened to me as being part of the Father's Day Committee is being able to call Mark Shriver a friend. So he's also a 2008 Father of the Year honoree. So please join me in welcoming Mark Shriver.
Good afternoon or good morning. Thank you very much, Stuart, for that very kind introduction. It's a real privilege to be here with all of you. And we're going to ask a couple questions of each of the awardees. But before I do that, I want to say just a few words about each of them. To my far right is Hall of Fame inductee Coach Jim Boeheim of Syracuse University men's basketball team. I root for the University of Maryland, so, but it's nice to see you anyways here. Coach Boeheim has been the coach of his alma mater for 34 years. He's led his team to 27 trips to the NCAA tournament, 3 Final Four appearances, and a national championship in 2003. In addition to, obviously, his outstanding basketball career, Coach and his wife Julie started the Jim and Julie Boeheim Foundation this past year. He's done work with Coaches vs. Cancer, Children's Miracle Network, Elder Care Foundation, Make-A-Wish Foundation, and an organization that's very close to our hearts and the Shriver family, Special Olympics. They are the proud parents of 4 children, Elizabeth, James Arthur, and twins, Jack and Jamie. Thank you very much, Coach, for joining us.
Thank you.
Next to the coach, we have, do you like when people introduce you as the coach, or do you?
Yes.
You do, okay, all right. Coach, great. Since I probably mispronounced your name about 4 times, I apologize. Next is Jeffrey Canada, who I've long admired for his great work in Harlem's Children Zone and as president and CEO. Jeffrey is a nationally recognized for his pioneering work helping children and families in Harlem, and is a passionate advocate for education reform. For those of you who saw Waiting for Superman, you saw his appearance in that movie and the important role he played in there. In 2006, Jeffrey was selected by Mayor Bloomberg as co-chair of the Commission on Economic Opportunity and was asked to formulate a plan to significantly reduce poverty. In 2007, He was appointed co-chair of New York State Governor's Children's Cabinet Advisory Board. He's the father of 4 children, Melina, Jerry, Bruce, and Jeffrey Jr. Thank you very much for joining us today. Our next honoree is Brendan Hoffman, who is the president and CEO of Lord & Taylor since 2008. Prior to joining Lord & Taylor, and there's a lot of Lord & Taylor folks here, as Coach said on the dais, Brendan was president and chief executive officer of Neiman Marcus Direct. Prior to joining Lord & Taylor, Brendan has been president and chief executive officer of Neiman Marcus Direct and the direct marketing fulfillment business of the Neiman Marcus Group. He received both his undergraduate and graduate degrees from the University of Pennsylvania, graduating from the Wharton School of Business with his MBA. Brendan and his wife, Abby, are the proud parents of 2 children, Matthew and Julia. Thank you very much for joining us. To my left is Randall Stevenson, the Chief Executive Officer and Chairman of AT&T. Randall's superior leadership skills has led AT&T to grow into the world's premier telecommunications company and a leader in mobile broadband and global IP data solutions. Under his guidance, AT&T announced the largest educational initiative in company history, AT&T Aspire, a $100 million philanthropic program to help strengthen student success and workforce readiness. He's a member of the board of directors of Emerson Electric Company, a national executive board member of the Boy Scouts of America, and chairman of the United Way of Metropolitan Dallas campaign for 2011. Randall is the proud father of 2 daughters. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
The man to Randall's left needs no introduction as captain of the New York Knicks, Amari Stoudemire. You get clapping like that when you go to Boston or anywhere else?
Dallas.
Not quite.
Not quite, all right. As everyone knows, Amari joined the Knicks in July 2010 after 8 years with the Phoenix Suns, revolutionizing or reinvigorating, I guess is probably the better word, New York Knicks franchise. He declared that the Knicks are back, and he delivered by getting the Knicks into the playoffs for the first time since 2004. He's not only a well-respected professional basketball player who's clearly left his mark on the game, but he's also done incredible work throughout the community. He's been named a Goodwill Ambassador to the country of Sierra Leone and is currently developing a community center in the African nation of Mali. Through the Amari Stoudemire Foundation, he's been able to provide needed resources for New York's Department of Youth and Community Development, beacon centers, AAU programs, basketball tournaments, and projects abroad. He's focused on creating and inspiring youth to avoid poverty through education. When he isn't busy on the court, he's a busy dad to his 3 loving children. Thank you very much for joining us. Last but not least, Robert Evans is the 2011 Ashok Sani All-Star Dad. He was selected amongst hundreds of letters that were submitted about great fathers all across the country. He exhibits patience, love, and kindness through his charitable efforts, parental involvement, and a legacy of leadership. In 2005, Robert lost his first daughter, Hannah, to cancer. Not defined by tragedy, Robert founded Hannah's Day of Hope, a foundation that raises money to fund Make-A-Wish trips, toy drives, and facilitate supplies and upgrades for Kosar Children's Hospital. In addition to his tireless efforts in Hannah's memory, Robert remains a devoted dad to his 3 other children, Sarah, Grace, and Davis. Robert Evans is our 2011 All-Star Dad. Thank you very much for joining us. All right, we're going to do a couple of quick questions, and folks, we'll just go down from right to left. And I want to start with you, Coach. What advice would you give to fathers who are trying to balance a career and family life? And then, Jeffrey, we'll go with you next, okay?
Well, I think it's, obviously I didn't become a father until I was 42 years old, so I had a very late start, and I found when my first daughter came that it does change your life completely, and in an unbelievable way, and it wasn't as complex as I had thought until my next 3 children arrived, and several years later, when 18 months after Jimmy was born, we had twins, and I learned then what being a father is all about. It's a difficult job, but it's the greatest job you can have, and it's really the most important thing that you can do.
Thank you, Coach. Jeffrey?
Yeah, and I think that one of the things I would pass on to fathers is I just don't think a lot of fathers understand how critical they are in a child's life. And you get a lot of messages that, you know, the dads have this role which is defined in this sort of very traditional way. But I've just found that kids miss us. They just miss having somebody to hold their hand and wipe their nose, and when they're sick to hold them and sing to them. And these moments are very precious. And when you come home from work or from wherever, you've got to be fully there for your kids because this is all they know of you, and they really don't care how rough your day has been. They just want to know if you love them. And so that's what I would say to other dads.
Great. Thank you. Brendan, about the balance of career and family life?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's important to find a place that you work that appreciates the importance of balancing the work and family. And I know I was fortunate when I had my first child, Matthew. I was at Neiman Marcus in Dallas, and really they fostered an environment that encouraged you to balance, make sure you had the proper balance. And I think in the end, got more out of the workers because we were able to do that. And my time at Lord & Taylor, leading Lord & Taylor, I hope I've been able to encourage that amongst my employees as well in order to really strike that balance.
So you think that they actually become more productive if they
Absolutely.
have? They do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great. Randall, the balance of family life and work.
I think the most important thing you can do is marry well.
You don't have to say anything else. Amari? Go ahead.
No, I did, and that's, so much of it is if you have the right partner and a great mom, then it makes dads look really, really good. The old Woody Allen line, too, that what I think is Woody Allen, 80% of success is just showing up, and being present is really the most important thing you can do, particularly at those critical points in their life and so forth. And so those are the main points I'd give.
Great. Amari?
And I totally agree. I'm not married yet, but I totally agree with that. You got to have a great partner. It's definitely teamwork when it comes down to raising kids. With my career, I travel a lot with basketball. NBA schedules 82 games a year. 41 of those on the road. So it's tough being away from my kids for those days. But I think the most important factor is just being able to connect with them and like Coach Boeheim said, spend that love with your kids because they look up to you. You're their hero, and I'm like the walking Buzz Lightyear. In my house, we always have fun, and so I always wanted to be a school teacher growing up. So this kind of gives me I get a chance to live my second dream by hanging out with my kids and playing with them. So very important.
Thank you. Thank you. Robert?
Along the
Sure, if
lines
you-
of what Mr. Canada was saying, I believe real hard in working hard when you're at work, setting the goals for your family, making sure you're setting your family up for success through what you're doing at work. But when you leave work, come home and be with your kids, be with your wife. Leave work at work. Don't bring it home with you.
And the second question, just want to throw out. We'll start with you, Robert. Is what lessons from your own parents do you want to pass down to your kids?
Yeah, I come from a family with an older sister and a younger sister, and the lesson that, and I talked to my older sister about this, but the lesson that my parents taught us was you need to instill the same core values in all of your children, but then let them be themselves. The three of us are very different people. All three of us are very successful, and all three of us are raising families. And even though we're different, our parents put the same core values into each one of us. And I think that's the best lesson I got from my dad and mom.
Amari, do you any lessons from your parents, mom or dad, that you want to hopefully pass on to your kids?
Yeah, my father passed away when I was 12. He had a heart attack in his sleep, but before then, he always instilled that hard work is very important. He had his own lawn mowing company, so he would wake me up early morning and go work with him, and he just instilled in me how important it is to really work hard, and then also have those responsibilities of a man and taking care of your family. and my mother was the same way. So, you know, and so with that being said, it kind of just rubs off on me with my lifestyle, where I work extremely hard at what I do. But, you know, I take pride in being a father. I take pride in taking care of my family. And I think that's what most young men should try to focus in on, is taking pride of being a father.
Great, thank you. Randall, you want to share a couple thoughts about what you got from your mom or dad or your parents?
I guess I grew up in Oklahoma, I mean, right in the heartland of the United States, and I was taught you always look for right versus wrong. In any major decision or issue you have to deal with, there is a right and a wrong answer, and always have the courage to look yourself in the mirror and say, what's the right thing to do here, and then have the conviction to go and act on that.
Brendan?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hear all the cliches when you're growing up, and when you see your parents really live that credo thing, as Randall just said, knowing the difference between right and wrong, treating people the way you want to be treated, and always wearing clean underwear. I think those are.
That's the line that's going to come out all over the place.
Good thing I'm in fashion.
Yes, no, clearly. You want to say it again and just say Lord and Taylor underwear? Or
I think you just did.
I
Thank
did,
you.
thank you. I should look in the cameras when I do that, right? Jeffrey?
Well, I'm glad that clean underwear wasn't just a black thing, that went to everybody. So, all right. So at least that's clear for me. You know, there are a lot of kids who are growing up without a father, and I did. And I have tried to be the kind of father that I wished my father had been to me. So you get these sort of fantasies about what this person would be in your life. And you know, this issue of working hard, of being respectful, of honoring your elders, of taking care of your mother, that all of these sort of strong things of protecting your children and providing for them, these are the kinds of things that I've done because that's what I wish my father would have done for me. And I know there's just millions of kids in this country who have that same hope. So that's how I think I try to take advice I never heard and actually live by it.
Coach?
You know, my parents allowed me to do whatever it was that I wanted to do to get better. If I wanted to go to basketball camp, I was the first kid in our town to go. If I wanted to stay late at practice till 8, 9 o'clock at night, there was always a ride home, and there was always dinner right there on the table. I think it's important as a parent to give your kids every opportunity for them to be successful. And it's just something you do every day, and that's what my parents did for me, and enabled me to get to where, you know, I could be successful.
Coach, well, last question, we'll start with you. If you overheard one of your children or them talking, what are the 1 or 2 words you hope that they would use to describe you?
I don't think they could do it 1 or 2, but
Well, you're allowed to go 3 or 4.
you know, they're big fans. To me, I mean, my father gave me one thing, and I'm not sure it's always the right thing or the best thing, but it was he made me competitive, and if my kids think that I've helped make them competitive people, I would be happy.
Okay. Jeffrey, a couple of words that they would use to describe you?
Yeah, and I think my kids would say that I'm demanding, forgiving, and loving. That's what I think they would say about me.
Demanding, forgiving, and loving. That's pretty good. That's good. Brendan?
I was really brave. I'd let you ask my kids directly, but I'm not sure I'm going to go quite there. But hopefully they'd say...
You want them to come up here?
No. Hopefully they'd say that I'm loving, supportive, and involved.
Excellent. Randall?
As Brendan said, this is
excuse me.
what I hope they say. I don't know if this is what they would say or not, but I would hope they said if they did terrific things, I loved them, and if they really messed up, I loved them just the same.
Unconditional love. Amari, a couple of words that your kids might use to describe you.
Yeah, I think unconditional love is definitely a key. But I had kids at a young age, so I'm pretty active and I have fun with my kids. So I don't know. They're only 3, 4, and 5, so I'm not sure if they can say much. But you know, I do have fun. I'm very passionate, and I try to really, you know, take them places and just really enjoy it so they can enjoy themselves. So a lot of fun is what I instill on.
You had fun. Did they call you Buzz Lightyear? Did they really do that?
Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear. Got it. All right. Last but not least, Robert, a couple of words that you'd hope your kids would use to describe you.
I hope they'd use the words, you know, caring towards them and towards their mom, that they're the most important things I have. Strong in the sense that I take charge and guide the family. And then last thing is dedicated. You know, we work real hard through Hannah's Day of Hope and everything, and I'd hope that they see me as somebody who's taken on a mission and is working to get success in that area.
Okay, thank you all. I think you'll all agree that we have 6 great fathers here to celebrate fatherhood. The answers were terrific, and obviously want to thank each and every one of you again for coming. And we're actually going to adjourn and go into the dining room area, and we've got a lot of people out there waiting to celebrate alongside of you. But thank you all very much for coming.
Welcome and thank you for joining us at the 70th Annual National Father of the Year Luncheon. My name is Stuart Goldblatt, and I have the honor to serve as chairman of the National Father's Day Committee. At this time, I'd like to introduce Army Staff Sergeant Alexis Cole. Staff Sergeant Alexis Cole is a native of New York City, is currently stationed at West Point in the U.S. Military Academy Band. She is truly an international performer, having appeared in clubs, festivals, broadcasts across Europe, Asia, and South America, as well as in the United States. An award-winning prolific vocalist, she has 7 recordings to her credit. She was granted the prize-winning award of New York City's prestigious Jazz Mobile Vocal Competition. She holds her MA from Queens College, a BA from William Patterson University, and also attended the University of Miami and New World School of Arts. So please rise for our national anthem as sung by Staff Sergeant Cole. Thank you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight over ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets raged clear, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Sergeant Cole. That was really lovely. Thank you. Father's Day was first celebrated on June 17th in 1910. It was on that day that Mrs. Bruce Dodd of Spokane, Washington, first conceived and founded Father's Day as a tribute to her father, who had reared the family after the death of her mother. Mrs. Dodd had hoped that in honoring her father, she would inspire others across the country to celebrate their own fathers. In 1931, the Father's Day Council was organized, and in the event to help Father's Day gain the national profile that it deserved. In 1942, we honored our very first Father of the Year, General Douglas MacArthur. I want everyone to, as my mother would say, even though this is a Father's Day event, as my mother would say, please eat. Since 1942, the Father's Day Council has paid tribute to more than 450 outstanding fathers, and we're pleased to have some of them here with us today. Mike Satola, Alan Sirkin, Mark Shriver, and Ronnie Wurzberger. So gentlemen, congratulations on your past honors, and thank you for being here. Honoring great fathers and raising the profile of an important celebration isn't the only mission of the Father's Day Council. We have another main mission, and that is philanthropy. As some of you may know, in addition to the National Father of the Year Luncheon, which you're attending today, we have over 18 regional Father of the Year dinners in 18 cities across the country. The Regional Father of the Year dinners honor over 65 men each year for not only achieving success in their chosen field or endeavor, but also carving out the time to teach and mentor their children to become good citizens and proud members of the community. All proceeds of the Regional Father of the Year dinners benefit the American Diabetes Association, which we're very proud to be associated with. More than $25 million has been raised to date from the Father of the Year events and help the American Diabetes Association fund essential advocacy, education, and very important research initiatives that we are proud to support. Diabetes is an insidious disease. It blinded and killed my grandmother and killed my mother. So I'm very proud to be associated with the American Diabetes Association in these regional events, and they joined us here today at table 35. Hello, 35. But today, I'm proud to announce that the proceeds from today's national luncheon will be donated to our national charity partner, Save the Children. So it is now my pleasure to invite Mark Shriver, Vice President of Save the Children U.S. Programs and a 2008 Father of the Year honoree, to come up to the podium and speak about Save the Children.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Stuart, and thank you, everyone, for coming today. The dollars raised are critically important for Save the Children's work all across the United States. Before I give you just a 1 or 2 minute summary of what we do, I want to thank Joe Rivers, who's the Executive Director of the Council, for all the work that he's done over the last 6 years with Save the Children. Some of you don't know, but Joe is retiring, and he's been a terrific partner, and we've been awfully grateful for your support. So thank you very much, Joe. Save the Children's work all across the country and all across the world benefits children and, in many cases, women that are taking care of those children. In the United States, we have been fighting poverty for over 80 years, primarily in rural America, where the poverty crisis is the worst. Today, in the United States, 1 in 5 children live in poverty. In rural America, it's 1 in 4 kids. We focus on early childhood education, literacy, health, nutrition, and also response to disasters, working with over 75,000 children in 150 locations in 14 states across the country. Rather than have me go on and on about it, I'd like to roll a quick video that gives you an idea. And again, many, many thanks for all of your support today. Appreciate it.
In terms of poverty in our country, often people hide in plain sight.
As an advocate for Save the Children's U.S. programs, I've witnessed an America where 1 in 5 children live in poverty.
Nobody's opposed to investing in kids on paper, but when push comes to shove, kids aren't getting the dollars.
Just because poverty has always been with us doesn't mean it always has to be. Giving all kids a quality education is the key to breaking the cycle of poverty in the United States.
I like my plant a lot.
You can hear it in their voice that they feel like reading is something that they can do.
Our early childhood and literacy programs help schools and families give kids a fair chance in life.
I like to read because I have a smart brain.
I didn't like to read all that much, but once I come here, it was fun doing all the stuff that we had to read.
We'll be delighted to hear your thoughts this morning.
Children in our literacy programs improve their reading skills as much as if they had attended an extra 4 months of school per year.
Save the Children, what they have done for us has really made reading fun.
Ultimately, it's results that matter most.
We're in areas where there's not a lot going on in the community, and this is a safe place, a safe environment for the kids to go to.
Save the Children has been very effective in the classroom. We're able to integrate more reading into our curriculum because of Save the Children.
All kids should have books to read and chances to learn. Whether you're 7 years old or 70 years old, you can help give every kid a chance to succeed.
We're raising awareness that will galvanize the American people to invest in kids. We're reaching the most powerful media outlets every day.
Kids can buy the Valentines and the money goes to U.S. programs, and it's about raising awareness of poverty.
Brianna, I understand that this program has helped with your self-confidence. Is that right?
I was not reading really good, and now I am president of my school.
Literacy could be the ladder out of poverty. If you're going to change things, you have to jump in there and roll your sleeves up and start.
We will be in all 50 states by 2015, empowering kids from the farmlands of California to the shores of Maine.
Mark, these numbers, almost 44 million people living below the poverty line. Why do we need to know that? That is a bummer, okay?
When you look at putting a man on the moon, it's the fact that the country has rallied around a cause. And I think we can do that with eradicating poverty. There's always been poverty in this country, there's no doubt about it. But if we mobilize as a country, we can help kids lift themselves out of poverty.
Thank you, Mark, for your contributions to such an important cause and for being here today and sharing that with us. Save the Children gives me such immense personal pleasure to serve on the Father's Day Council, so thank you. As we move on in our program before the main course is served, in addition to honoring the great 5 Fathers of the Year that we have for 2011 on the dais here today, we are also pleased to honor the 2011 Ashok Sani All-Star Dad. So let me explain the Ashok Sani All-Star Dad Award. Ashok Sani was the beloved husband to Shalu and a most devoted father to Suraj and Monish. Ashok Sani was my friend, as he was to many of you in this room. While he considered his family to be his calling, he also had a deep commitment of equal credit and recognition to all. His interests in ethics, truth, love, peace, nonviolence, compassion, and moral and social responsibilities live in all of us, and through the Ashok Sani Scholar in Residence program at NYU, and of course the Ashok Sani All-Star Dad Award with the Father's Day Council, both of which are underwritten by the Sani Family Foundation, for which we are very grateful. I love this fact about Ashok. When he graduated NYU, he was the youngest to ever graduate NYU at that time. So we miss you, Ashok Sani. And in the spirit of Ashok Sani, the All-Star Dad Award honors the everyday, hardworking father who often goes unrecognized. The father who is working 2 jobs to make ends meet, or the father who is working here today at the Sheraton and is going to get your dinner to you very quickly tonight. But it's also the father that is protecting us overseas and our streets and fighting for what's right. It's the man whose tireless efforts make life better for his children, his family, and his community. After reviewing hundreds of essays sent from all over the United States as part of a writing campaign sponsored by the National Father's Day Committee, Men's Health Magazine, and the Sani Family Foundation, the committee selected this year's winner, Robert Evans, who is here with us today. This essay is in your program. Robert exhibits patience, love, and kindness through his charitable efforts, parental involvement, and legacy of leadership. In 2005, Robert lost his first daughter, Hannah, to cancer. Not to be defined by tragedy, Robert founded Hannah's Day of Hope, a foundation that raises money to fund Make-A-Wish trips, toy drives, and facility supplies, and upgrades the Kosar Children's Hospital, including laptop computers, wireless internet, equipment for the hospital's cancer wing. With all of this, in his spare time, Robert helps returning veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan rebuild their homes at Fort Knox. In addition to his tireless efforts in Hannah's memory, Robert remains a devoted father to his 3 children, Sarah, Grace, and Davis, giving his time and talent to everything from coaching sport teams to helping with homework and school projects. I've met this man. This man is incredible. Spend time with him. Robert Evans is our 2011 Ashok Sani All-Star Dad. Will you please come to the podium?
Thank you. This is so amazing. I'm very humbled by this unbelievable honor. When I first spoke to Sunil just 2 weeks ago, I was completely unaware that a friend of mine had nominated me for this honor. After our first talk, I still didn't really understand what was happening until the next morning when Sunil told me that my family and I were invited to this fantastic event where I would be honored and named the Ashok Sani All-Star Dad. I can't tell you how humbled I am and blessed to be associated with this amazing man and his family. Dad, I've had other titles in my life, but none of them come close to Dad. When a child calls you that, it's a bond that doesn't break. No other title does that. To me, the simple word means hold my hand, read me a book at bedtime, kick a ball around, somehow make it better when things aren't good, and just about everything else. When I think about being a dad, I think of my 4 amazing kids, Hannah, Sarah, Grace, and Davis. But when I really consider how I learned to be a father, or how it was that a friend thought highly enough of me to nominate me for this honor, I think of just a few people that have impacted my life and made me the father I am today. I was blessed to have a mom and dad who taught me what being a parent meant, being fair, honest, and caring to my sisters and I always, making family the most important thing. My sisters and I knew we had it good, 2 parents that loved each other and loved us, and who always encouraged us to succeed. They are the reason that we have all married strong partners and why we are raising our families the way they raised us. I married an incredible woman, the mother of our 4 children, a little more than 13 years ago. She taught me that together we could do anything and that we could teach our kids to do the same. She did all the hard work, bringing all 4 of them into the world, and I'll never be able to thank her enough. I love you, Jen. Lastly, I'd like to talk about the first person who ever called me Dad, because I'm sure she's the reason I'm here today. My daughter Hannah was like every first child, a lesson from the beginning. She had the job of teaching her mom and I what being a parent meant. Little did we know that she'd teach us so much more. Hannah was everything we ever wanted. We were a trio from the start, willing to take on the world. At the age of 4, Hannah was diagnosed during a preschool physical with childhood cancer, not something any of us ever wanted to take on. We held her hand, never left her side, and over the course of the next 2 years, saw her go through chemotherapy, radiation, and far too many surgeries. But along the way, we saw her collect toys for her friends in the hospital, truckloads of them. I mean, we hauled truckloads of toys to the hospital, and it was all because of her. She forgot about cancer while she worried about her friends. Hannah taught us that there was something a lot more important than ourselves. To this day, she continues to teach us and definitely watches over us, especially in the hard times. The day Sunil called me to tell me that I was chosen for this honor was the day she should have graduated from the 5th grade. Trust me, it gave us something to distract the pain. Today, June 16th, is the 5th anniversary of her trip to heaven. I was blessed. I have great parents, an incredible wife, 3 fantastic kids here with me, and an angel looking over me. It's because of Hannah that we are dedicated to stopping cancer from stealing children from their families. Hannah taught us that our friends deserve better, and we continue to help all of our friends today through our efforts with Hannah's Day of Hope and the Children's Hospital Foundation at Kocere Children's Hospital in Louisville, Kentucky. Sunil and Joe, thank you for all your help and for being so gracious to my family. Thank you for this great honor, but mostly thank you to my kids for calling me Dad. There's nothing better.
Okay, but before we get started with the second half of this program, which is honoring the rest of the Fathers of the Year, I just want to take a minute to personally recognize our executive director, the unsung hero of this event and the Mother's Day event, and has been for 16 years, Mr. Joseph Rivers. So Mr. Rivers, if you would just come to the podium here. So what else do you get somebody for who's retiring after 16 years of dedicated service?
I'm going to see.
A watch. Okay, so we wanted to present to you this watch from the Mother's Day and Father's Day Council. Thank you for all your hard work at keeping us on time, and it represents to us how important your time, the 16 years, was to the council, and how fantastic your contributions have been. So we hope that you wear that with pride. And here's the instruction book.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Stuart.
thank you.
Can I say a couple
yeah,
words?
Yeah, please.
Actually, I just want to say this is a wonderful gift, and I appreciate it. But when you give somebody a gift for retirement, the worst thing you want to do is give them something that's going to tell you about time. I'm kidding. Just a joke. Actually, when you think about retirement, it makes the word weekend obsolete. So I like that. I'd just like to thank a few people if I could. First of all, I'd like to thank my wife, who's out there in the distance. My wife and I have been married 48 years. She's my friend, my coach, my critic, my spelling instructor. But most of all, she's learned firsthand what it means to put the council first, because she's heard it for 16 years. I'd also like to thank Stuart, because with every organization, you need someone at the other end of the table. And Stuart has been a good president, and he's been a great champion for the council. I'd like to start, I saw Marty Krasner here too. And I'd like to thank Marty, because Marty is our treasurer. And when we had the money, Marty let me spend it. And when we didn't have it, he told me what not to spend it on. I also wanted to thank, I think Bruce Roberts is here, because I wanted to thank him, because in this job, you need a priest or a rabbi. And Bruce was that for me. And when we were doing good, it was great. And when we weren't, he gave me a kick in the pants to get it straight. There is also one other guy that isn't here today who taught our 2005 honoree, Donald Trump, about hairstyle. And that was Teddy Kaufman. And Teddy gave me this job, taught me about it, taught me about the passion of the council, and taught me about hosting wonderful events for fathers and mothers. Since I've been here, we've hosted 83 outstanding mother honorees, and today with these honorees, 94. And in doing that, like 1995 honoree Hillary Rodham Clinton says, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes volunteers and a committee to run the council. And over the years, from Mother's Day, we had people like Carolyn Wojcik, Karen Murray out there. We had Thea Breen and the ever-popular Lori Dowley. For Father's Day, we've had Tony Constantino. We had the Keep Your Speeches Short Glenn Shannon, Richie Wurzberger, and Carl Stewart. And I'd just like to close with the immortal words that our first Father of the Year, General Douglas MacArthur, used when he spoke to Congress in 1951 when he spoke about his retirement. Old soldiers - executive directors never die. They just fade away. Thank you. Enjoy the event. God bless America.
So the next presentation, and I don't want anyone to worry, Joe is going to stay on as a consultant for us, so we don't have anything to worry about, folks. We'll be raising lots of money for lots of good causes. The next award is not in your program, it's the Founders Award. We've only given this out twice in the 70 years of the National Mother's Day, Father's Day Council. Lori Dowley and Ronnie Wurzberger have received this award. This year, I would like to bestow this award on our Executive Director, Joe Rivers. So Joe, why don't you come back up here. No more speeches, though. You gave your speech. So let me read the inscription here. Founders Award, C. Joseph Rivers. The C stands for Clarence.
That's it.
Now you know why he doesn't use it. National Father's Day and Mother's Day Council, with gratitude for your outstanding service, 16 years, 1995 and 2011.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Again, in keeping with the Glenn Shannon 2-minute speech, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, there's just one more thing, Joe, because your focus, although it's been on Father's Day and this organization and Mother's Day, spoken to Suzanne, took a vote from Chip, Sarah, and Jennifer, who are here, and also from your grandchildren, Brittany and Connor and Miles and Griffin and Molly and Jack. And you've been unanimously voted by the Father's Day Council and by your family is the first recipient of the 2011 Father of the Year Award. So, Joe, step forward for your Father of the Year Award.
Oh, my God.
Let's get a picture.
All right, let me just allude to the fact that it's great to be a father. After being here all these years and honoring these fathers, they're really, it's a wonderful program. I thank all of you for coming. This is a great honor for me. It's so miraculous in the fact that I've been sitting here for 16 years giving these things out, and I would have thought my kids would have jumped up earlier and said, "Hey, Dad, how about for you?" But thank you anyway, kids. I appreciate it out there. We love you dearly.
I have some good news to report. There are no more awards for Joe Rivers to give out. But before I begin our full program, we usually end the program with acknowledgments, but we could not have had this really record-breaking event, over 800 people, record revenue, without all of your generous support and the hard work of our committee. Joan Reeves, who helps us in the Father's Day office, and Charmaine Forrester, who helps me in my office, and the incredible 2011 Father's Day Committee, Rick Beckerman, Frank Chalou, Jack Essig, Jonathan Greller, Michael Haskell, Michael McMullen, Dan Orwig, Malcolm Robinson, Paul Rosengard, Sunil Sani, Lily Sidorovich, William Sussman, Richie Wurzberger, and, of course, Joe Rivers. I'd also like to thank Men's Health Magazine. They put together our invitation in today's program, and a thank you to all of our very generous sponsors. And anyone here who would like to volunteer in the future for the Father's Day Committee, please give me a call at stewart.goldblatt@macys.com. So we have a little bit of change in the schedule today, and I just want to make a little bit of a pitch here for Save the Children, who we have a very close relationship with. They work on the ground in some of the most impoverished regions in the country, helping kids and families struggling just to make it through the day. You might not know, but in rural America, 1 in 5 children live in poverty, and almost a third are overweight or obese. Save the Children helps these children by providing nutrition and physical activity programs. And over 50,000 children have been helped in 150 communities, not that far away, in Appalachia, the Mississippi Delta, the Gulf Coast, and California's Central Valley. Save the Children is the national leader in emergencies and preparing communities for potential disasters and providing large-scale response and recovery programs during these disasters. So at this time, I'd just like you to think about doing something a little bit special, especially during these challenging times. There are pledge cards on your table. This will go directly to Save the Children, and your gift will help buy healthy snacks for children, purchase books for school libraries, and really help children that are in need. So please think about going the extra mile for really this fantastic organization, and thank you very much for that consideration. Okay, so George Stephanopoulos was supposed to be our MC today. He was held back because of breaking news on Anthony Weiner's resignation. And seems like this is more important to me, but somebody said, well, maybe there's some breaking nudes that he needs to report on. Bada bing. Okay. So, Mr. Mark Shriver, who's been our MC before, has graciously stepped up to the plate here for us. And I'm delighted to introduce to you Mark Shriver. During his 9-year tenure with Save the Children's U.S. programs, Mark has significantly enhanced productivity, expanded the number of children served throughout the country, diversified revenue sources, and secured the largest single private gift in the program's history. Mark has served as a member of the Maryland House Ways and Means Committee, and as well as a joint committee on children, youth, and families. He lives with his wife, Jeannie, and their 3 children, Emma, Molly, and Tommy. And I've met all 3 of them. Tommy's very rambunctious. He is the 2008 Father of the Year honoree. Please join me in welcoming Mark Shriver.
Okay. I don't know what rambunctious means, but I take it as a compliment for my son. Is that good? I heard a little murmur out there. You like my kid, right? Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Stuart. I'm actually, obviously just got this assignment about 20 minutes ago, and I was talking to somebody out in the hallway, and they said, you know, I heard George Stephanopoulos isn't going to be the MC, and I said, yeah, I'm the MC. And the woman goes, oh, what a disappointment. And I said, and she goes, you know, he's so good looking, he's on TV, he's attractive, he's smart, and I'm like, ma'am, you know. She goes, Brian Williams was the MC a couple years ago, Chris Matthews, and now it's you. The good news is that since you all bought your tables and your tickets to come here, George Stephanopoulos is going to feel so guilty that he's going to come back next year. So you all have to buy your tickets again next year and give a contribution to Save the Children, and he'll come back, okay? You're supposed to now laugh or something to happen there. Thank you. One guy clapped. Mr. Wurzberger, thank you very much. I did notice that after Stuart told you all to look under your coffee cups, everybody clanged around. And then when he told you to pick up your cards, your pledge cards to Save the Children, the place was silent. So anyways. All right, the first person who's getting the award is the head coach of Syracuse University, Jim Boeheim. In our house, yes. In our house, we root for the Maryland Terrapins, and I said to the coach earlier that usually I don't even know how to pronounce his last name because it's a curse word every time I mention it. So it's that in coach of Syracuse University, because he's always crushing the University of Maryland. But he has got an incredible record, having coached his alma mater for 34 years. They've made 27 trips to the NCAA tournament, 3 Final Four appearances, and of course the championship in 2003. In addition to his outstanding basketball career, he started the Jim and Julie Boeheim Foundation this past year. He's lent his time to Coaches vs. Cancer, the Children's Miracle Network, Elder Care Foundation, Make-A-Wish Foundation, and something that's very near and dear to the Shrivers' heart, the Special Olympics. Jim is the proud father of 4 children, Elizabeth, James Boeheim Jr., and twins Jack and Jamie. Will you all please welcome and congratulate the 2010 Coach Father of the Year, Jim Boeheim.
Thank you. You can tell Mark went to the University of Maryland. He can't say my name right. Boeheim. Come on, Mark. That's all right. I'd expect nothing more from a Maryland Terrapin. What's that, a turtle? Yeah, a turtle. First of all, I'm here because of my wife, Julie. You know, I was 52 years old, and I had one daughter, a beautiful daughter, Elizabeth, who was no problems, who was a perfect daughter, as I'm sure all you fathers think yours are, but mine was. But my wife, Julie, thought I needed more children, and I reluctantly said, yes, I think that's a great idea. So she gave me 3 in 18 months. And I'll never forget the day I went for the sonogram, and the lady said, you know, there's 2 in here. Have you ever had that experience? Anybody out there ever had that one? It's a wake-up call. And all those people that tell you, like, twins are easier, you know, that's a lie. You know, it's an honor for me to be here, because of my wife and what she's done with our kids. That's why I'm here. as all men sitting up here know and fathers know out there, we're just like along for the ride. It's just like, make sure you do this, do that, and we initiate little, if anything, on our own. And I'm very fortunate that my wife gets me in the right places at the right time. And it's truly a great honor. When you look at the program and you look at the names on the program and you see these guys up here, and the quality of people here, and the quality of people here, it's a great night. It's a great honor, and I'm very proud to be up here and to take this home. You know, when my kids heard about this, they were 2-2 on whether I deserved it, which in my house for me is pretty good. So I'd like to thank the committee, but most of all, I'd like to thank my wife for just a great 14 years with my children and her. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Coach Boeheim. Boeheim. I love the color orange. Yeah, that's a good one. Syracuse orange. Yeah. Okay. Our next awardee, he's leaving. He's so mad at me, he's leaving. I assume you're going down to congratulate your wife, right? She's right there. Okay. No, he's never going to come back here again. Sorry, Joe. Our next awardee is Randall Stephenson, who's the Chief Executive Officer and Chairman of AT&T. Randall's superior leadership skills has led AT&T to grow into the world's premier telecommunications company and leader in mobile broadband and global IP data solutions. Most importantly, as I said to him in the press conference earlier, he is the provider of my cell phone coverage, so I am very focused on this guy. Under his guidance, AT&T has announced the largest educational initiative in company history, AT&T Aspire, a $100 million philanthropic program to help strengthen students' success and workforce readiness. He's a member of the board of directors of Emerson Electric Company, national executive board member of the Boy Scouts of America, and chairman of the United Way of Metropolitan Dallas campaign for 2011. Randall is the proud father of 2 daughters. Please join me in congratulating Randall Stephenson as a 2011 Father of the Year.
Thank you, Mark. I had the privilege of meeting one of Mark's siblings in Europe here recently, and he learned that I was from Texas. And he told me, I love Texas. He said he was there recently, and a guy told him, he said, do you know you kind of look like that Shriver-Kennedy group? And he said, yeah, I'm told that a lot. And the guy said, I bet that makes you mad, don't it? One of my favorites. That's a true story. It's very funny. This is an honor. It really is. And like Coach Boeheim, probably if you took a poll, I'm not sure how it would have gone with my kids if they had voted. But it is an honor. I really appreciate the Father's Day Committee for the honor. I have a very close friend who was honored like this recently, and he was introduced as somebody who was trying to leave a better world for his children. And he got up and he corrected the individual. He said, no, I'm not. He said, I'm working really hard to leave better children for the world. And my wife and I kind of think about this that way as well. Kind of our goal in life is make sure we leave better children for the world. And my wife is here and my 2 daughters, and you know, I look at you grown. One of them just got married, just got back from her honeymoon, in fact. And I look at you and say, we have indeed done that. And I feel very privileged about that. And I would tell you, Save the Children is one of those programs that allows all of us to engage in ensuring that we're doing exactly that on a broader basis, and that is leaving better children for the world. And it's a great program. Very privileged to be a part of this and to support such an effort, and thank you again for the honor.
I'm going to send that picture to all your Republican friends. I also want to tell you, while you were talking, it was a beautiful talk, seriously, but I canceled my AT&T coverage as well. I felt like it was a roast, but Boeheim makes fun of me, and then you grill me. And by the way, coming from my family, I'm going to use that quote you used about leaving your children, better children in the world, and I'm going to use it as my direct quote, so thanks a lot. All right. Amar'e Stoudemire needs no introduction. The good news is I'm a Boston Celtic fan, and when he got hurt, we were really happy in our house this year because we got out of the first round. I know I'm really going to be invited back. Just relax. Wait till you hear what I have to say about you, Jeffrey Canada. Seriously, we are Celtics fans, but we're big admirers of Amar'e Stoudemire. My son loved you when you played in Phoenix. Obviously, you brought basketball and action back to Madison Square Garden. He's been a stalwart on the court and all across the country. He delivered on his promise that the Knicks are back by obviously getting the Knicks into their first playoff appearance since 2004. But as much as he has done on the court, he is really, honestly, as admired, if not more so, for his work in the community. He's been named a Goodwill Ambassador to the country of Sierra Leone and is currently developing a community center in the country of Mali. Through the Amar'e Stoudemire Foundation, Amar'e has been able to provide needed resources for New York's Department of Youth and Community Development, to the Beacon Centers, AAU programs, basketball tournaments, and projects not only here in this country but abroad. He's focused on creatively inspiring youth to avoid poverty through education. Whether on and off the court, Amar'e has found time to make sure that his 3 kids are the most important part of his life. Please join me in welcoming and congratulating Amar'e Stoudemire as the 2011 Father of the Year.
I need to raise the mic a little bit here. Now, this is truly an honor. I never really knew that everyone took notice of my fatherhood. You know, I think it's very important for, especially being a young father, to really, really take pride in being a father. You know, it's something that I always grew up wanting to be a school teacher. And so now I got the opportunity to live my second dream of hanging out with my kids. You know, my kids call me Mr. Buzz Lightyear. You know, so I'm always having a good time with my family. They actually fuel my work. You know, it makes me more passionate on the basketball court. Gives me, you know, a sense of pride and passion. You know, when I step from at the Madison Square Garden gym. So again, this is truly an honor. I thank the Father's Day Committee for the award. And hopefully there's many more to come. Thank you.
Congratulations, champ. There you go.
You just said, "There you go, Shorty." That's funny. God almighty. I do feel like this is just a roast. All right. The next the next honoree, our final 2 honorees, this thing, I'm going to get it in there, is being honored not as only Father of the Year, but also will be receiving the 2011 Milton Margolis Humanitarian Award. The Humanitarian Award, the Milton Margolis Humanitarian Award, was established by the National Father's Day Council in 1996, named in honor of past council president and long-standing member Milton Margolis. Milton Margolis humanitarian recipients are recognized for unquestionable leadership skills and innate charisma. He's a high-profile personality recognized within his industry and has an unwavering dedication to philanthropic social causes. Most importantly, he's a supportive and loving to his family. The first of our 2011 Milton Margolis Humanitarian Awards winners is retail industry leader Brendan Hoffman. Since 2008, Brendan has served as president and CEO of Lord & Taylor, a division of Hudson's Bay Trading Company. And I must say, my mother, who passed away a couple years ago, spent a small fortune in your stores all across Washington, D.C. Prior to joining Lord & Taylor, Brendan was President and Chief Executive Officer of Neiman Marcus Direct, the direct marketing and fulfillment business of the Neiman Marcus Group, a position he held since 2002. He received both his undergraduate and his graduate degrees from the University of Pennsylvania, graduating from the Wharton School of Business with an MBA in 1997. Brendan and his wife Abby currently reside in Westchester and live with their two children, Matthew, who's 9, and Julia, who's 6. Please welcome 2011 Father of the Year, Brendan.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you to the National Father's Day Committee for feeling I was worthy of this high honor, especially to Ron and Rich Wurzberger, Stuart Goldblatt, and John Greller. Congratulations to my fellow honorees. It's a privilege to be in your company, and I marvel at all your great accomplishments and commitment to your families. My thanks to all of you for being here today and making a difference through your support of Save the Children. I'd like to thank and introduce my family. Many of you know my wife Abby from her days in the Lord & Taylor neckwear buying office in the 90s. She tells me often that she could have been the CEO of Lord & Taylor had she not decided to stay home and raise our family. So, honey, thank you for clearing the path for me for my success. And more importantly, doing the heavy lifting at home and raising our two children, Matthew, who is 9.5, and Julia, who is now 7. I see her pouting over there. I think she felt shortchanged by that year. Matt, there's nothing I enjoy more than watching you enjoy playing Little League, especially when you hit your home run the other night, or playing your guitar, except when you do it so early in the morning just to wake up your sister. And what a great time we had the other night at WWE Wrestling. I was watching you stand on your chair cheering John Cena and The Miz, even though I have no idea who they are. And Julia, my little fashionista, my favorite part of the day is when we do our secret handshake in the morning and night. I love watching you do your latest song and dance, currently Katy Perry's California Girls, except when you do it to try and avoid bath time. The look on your face when you hear the bell from the Good Humor truck is priceless. I still think you hear it half a beat sooner than everyone else in the neighborhood. I'm so proud of both of you and can't believe how fast you're growing up, even though everyone warned me this was going to happen. I also want to thank my mother-in-law, Marion Yaloff, for being here, as well as my brother, David, and my sister, Rennie. Last but not least, my parents. I've long appreciated the unfair head start that I received in my life, growing up in the environment that I did. That's why I'm so grateful to be here today to raise money for an organization like Save the Children that helps those that are less fortunate. To be honest, I don't think there's a child in the world that received the advantages that my siblings and I were given. Certainly there were people that grew up with more money, toys, and even opportunities. The 10-year-old Datsun with 100,000 miles you gave me in 1984 with the 8-track tape player did not make the high school girls swoon. However, I've not met a person yet that was given the foundation that I received by the love, guidance, support, and firm hand of my parents. There's no question in my mind that I would not have had the success I have had in my career without their upbringing. More importantly, I would not be the father and husband I am without their example. As this is Father's Day week, I will say to my father that you're the finest person that I know. I have reconciled the fact that I will never be the father you are, but it takes solace that I'm far better than I otherwise would have been. There are no words to describe how fortunate Matthew and Julia are to have you and Mom as a daily presence in their lives, and how grateful Abby and I are for it. This award goes to you, not only because it takes the pressure off me to having to get you a Father's Day gift, but more importantly, because to your 6 children by blood and by marriage, as well as your 6 grandchildren, you're always our Father and Grandfather of the Year. My thanks again to all of you for being here and to all of my Lord & Taylor colleagues for allowing me to stand on their shoulders and receive so many accolades, especially when it allows us to do so much good for an organization like Save the Children. Thank you.
Okay, our last recipient goes to a guy who starred in a movie that many of you have seen, Waiting for Superman. He's the Father of the Year Award and the Milton Margolis Humanitarian Award, Jeffrey Canada. Jeffrey is president and CEO of Harlem's Children's Zone and is nationally recognized for his pioneering work helping children and families in Harlem, and is a passionate advocate for education reform. I've been in the business of social services, social justice for 25 years, and I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this guy is not only a fantastic speaker, but he's a trailblazer. He has been a pioneer and a recognized pioneer all across the country. He has been the model that President Obama has used for the Promised Neighborhoods initiative, resulting in hundreds of millions of dollars going into trying to replicate what he did in central Harlem through 100 blocks to try to replicate that all across the country. Save the Children's work, Jeffrey, you may not know, is part of the Promised Neighborhoods proposal for a small college in Kentucky called Berea College, and we are trying to replicate what you have done in Harlem, in eastern Kentucky. His work has been profiled on numerous shows, the Oprah Winfrey Show, the Today Show, Good Morning America. You've read about him in the New York Times and the USA Today. As I mentioned, he was in the movie Waiting for Superman. Mayor Bloomberg announced in 2006 that he should be co-chair of the Commission on Economic Opportunity, which was asked to formulate a significant plan to reduce poverty. In 2007, he was appointed co-chair of the New York State Governor's Children's Cabinet Advisory Board. He is devoted to helping children every day, but his biggest devotion is to his 4 kids, Melina, Jerry, Bruce, and Jeffrey Jr. And for that, we recognize Jeffrey Canada as a 2011 Father of the Year. Come on up.
First of all, I want to say thank you so much. And I'm really going to put this award to great use. People who know me know that I have 4 children. My oldest daughter is 40, and I have a son who's 39, and a son who's 35, and a 13-year-old. It's a story there. This is a fairly young group, but I should just warn you all, when our oldest kids went away to college, my wife and I, we had that empty nest thing going, right? And we were sitting around looking at one another, and we said, raising those 3 kids, that wasn't that hard. That just goes to show, as you get older, your memory's the first thing that goes, right? So just warn you, if that empty nest thing happens, it'll pass, right? So, but there are another 22 kids that call me father. That these are kids throughout my life and career that I have just adopted in the way that people adopt kids who have no father in their life and want a father. They want someone to just be that role, and they just want to call somebody father and have that person, that man, love them like a father loves his kids. And so it's always interesting when people work for me, and in the first few years they work for me, they keep getting these calls from folk who says, oh yeah, I'm Jeff's daughter, I'm Jeff's son. After about 14 calls, they start looking at you really different. Like, what have you been doing all of this time? I have a desire that was, like most of the things I do in my life, it's personal. There are lots of kids who grew up like I did without a father. And I always wanted the opportunity to be a father to as many kids as possible. And I take pride in this award more so than anything I've ever received, and I've received numerous awards, because if you know anything about me, I want to be known as a good father and a good man. Before anything else, that's what I want. And I think, fathers have just an infinite capacity to love and forgive. And I asked God, could I just
be the father to as many kids as possible. And I have my kids that call me father, and there's the other 11,000 kids at the Harlem Children's Zone that I love. Each night when I go to bed, I just say to God, I hope I have in my heart the capacity to love another 11,000. So this is going right on my mantle, and thank you all very much.
Okay, we ran a little bit over. I'd like to once again congratulate the 2011 Fathers of the Year. Really honored to be in your presence. You all made fantastic speeches. And one last thing I would like to do is adjourn this luncheon and wish you back next year and thank everyone who participated and for your fantastic generosity. This luncheon's adjourned. Thank you.